When good rewards go bad, what does that even mean? Well, today we're going to dive into a really fascinating psychological twist where an idea that seems totally brilliant, rewarding good behavior, can sometimes go spectacularly wrong. So, let's start with a question I think we can all relate to, whether you're a parent, a teacher, or just remember being a kid yourself. How do you get kids to read more? It's this timeless challenge, right? In a world full of video games and distractions, what's the secret sauce? Well, for about 2 decades, one incredibly popular program had what felt like the perfect answer: free pizza. I mean, it's brilliant. You read a certain number of books and you get a certificate for free pizza. Simple, delicious, and you'd think super effective. And you know what? By all accounts, it was a huge success. Parents were happy, teachers were seeing their reading goals met. It makes perfect sense. It follows Learning 101. You reward a behavior, you get more of that behavior. So, case closed. A total success story. Or was it? This is where it gets really, really interesting. Because the psychologists who study motivation, well, they saw a hidden catch. They had a warning about the long-term effects of that free pizza, something that wasn't so obvious at first. And that warning has a name. It's called the over-justification effect. And trust me, it's a bit of a mind-bender. It's a counterintuitive idea that's going to make you rethink everything you thought you knew about rewards. To really get this, let's look at a classic experiment. So, researchers go into a classroom. First, they just hang back and watch. They're just seeing which kids naturally like playing these new math games. Then, they split the kids into groups. For a few weeks, one group gets rewarded for playing. The other group gets nothing. And then, and this is the most important part, they stop giving rewards to everyone, and they just watch again. So what do you think happened? The results were wild. The kids who never got a reward, they just kept playing the games, business as usual. But the kids who had been rewarded, their interest completely tanked. I mean, it fell off a cliff. Once the rewards were gone, they pretty much stopped playing the games altogether. The reward hadn't just motivated them temporarily, it had actually killed their natural enjoyment. And that, right there, is the over-justification effect in action. It's when an external reward, like pizza or money, actually lowers your own internal or intrinsic motivation to do something you already liked to do. It's almost like you've been given one too many reasons for doing it. So here's the thing. The reward changes the why. The kid's brain switches from thinking, I'm reading because it's fun, to I'm reading to get pizza. That external prize just completely overshadows the internal joy. And so when the pizza disappears, well, so does the reason to pick up a book. Okay, but wait a second. You're probably thinking, what about grades? Aren't they rewards? If giving pizza for reading is a bad idea, then why isn't getting an A for chemistry a problem too? It's a great question, and it turns out there's a really crucial difference. And the key is this: not all rewards are created equal. The pizza is what's called a task-contingent reward. You get it just for doing the thing, no matter how well you do it. But grades? They're usually performance-contingent. They're feedback. They tell you how well you did. A reward that says, hey, you're actually really good at this, is way less likely to kill your interest. In fact, it can even boost it because it makes you feel competent. This whole idea that our own motivations are often hidden even from ourselves is a perfect example of what psychology is all about. It's a field that's dedicated to digging into the why behind what we do. It uncovers these hidden rules and mental shortcuts that guide our behavior, often without us even realizing it. And this search for why applies to, well, everything. Psychology asks the biggest questions out there. How does your childhood actually influence how you parent your own kids? How does stress literally make you sick? What's the absolute best treatment for addiction or depression? It even helps us design safer airplane cockpits by understanding the predictable ways our brains tend to mess up. So let's take a quick look at a few more of these surprising mental glitches, because the over-justification effect is really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the weird shortcuts our brains are taking all the time. So get this, there's a condition called prosopagnosia, which is basically face blindness. A person with specific damage to their brain can look at their closest family members, even their own reflection, and not recognize who they're seeing. It reveals this incredible truth. Our brain isn't one big computer. It's more like a toolbox full of highly specialized tools. In maybe the most famous case ever, the neurologist Oliver Sacks wrote about a man who literally tried to lift his wife's head off a coat rack because he thought it was his hat. It's a shocking story, but it's such a powerful reminder that our perception of reality is built by these specialized and sometimes pretty fragile brain systems. And this actually connects back to our pizza problem in a pretty surprising way. See, when we explain our own behavior, we tend to blame the situation. Oh, I only did it for the pizza. But when we see someone else trip on the sidewalk, we're much more likely to think, wow, they're clumsy, not, that sidewalk must be uneven. It's this deep bias. For ourselves, it's the situation. For others, it's their personality. And these hidden rules don't just affect how we judge people, they even control what we're allowed to remember. I mean, think about it. Can you remember anything from when you were 2? Almost nobody can. And it's not because nothing important happened. It's a phenomenon called childhood amnesia, another example of our brains running on this mysterious internal operating system that we're still trying to figure out. So after seeing all these quirks and biases, what's the big takeaway here? Well, understanding psychology isn't just about collecting a bunch of interesting facts. It's about getting a whole new framework for thinking about yourself and the world. I mean, we are just bombarded with claims every single day, right? This one weird trick will change your life. New study proves this, that, or the other thing. It's just noise. It's overwhelming. How do you sort the real insights from all the junk? This is where having a psychological mindset is like a secret weapon. It gives you a simple 2-step guide. When you see a new claim, you just ask yourself, first, does this idea fit with what science has already established? And second, what's the actual evidence here? Is it a rigorous study or just a really good story? And this is the real power of learning about this stuff. It's not just that you get insights into the weird things our brains do. It equips you with the critical thinking skills to evaluate the world around you with so much more clarity. It helps you become a better thinker. So I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you're working late or learning a new skill or even just helping a friend out, take a second and ask yourself, why am I really doing this? Is there some external reward driving me, or is it something else? Is it for the pizza, or is it for the love of reading? The answer just might surprise you.